Every snap is an interview.
After the Snap.
What a snap. Hey, keep your mouth shut, 50!
I lead by example.
With Blake and Reid Ferguson, discussing life in, out, and after football.
To be able to leave walking away with a degree and a championship, it couldn't be any better.
Yeah!
Well, you can take this boy out the real South on but you can't take the real South out of my voice. And now here we go again, twist a little bit deeper because I got thick skin.
All right, so this is week three under SB Nation.
Welcome back.
I have to say that, okay, so last week obviously did the pod by myself, which I have done previously. Thank you. I have done previously one time. And it is, I just, for anybody out there that does radio or podcasting by yourself, coming up with, I told myself that I wanted to go 30 minutes. Coming up with 30 minutes of opinions and content is not easy.
Yeah.
Clay
You're
Travis
not having
always,
a conversation with anybody.
No.
You're having
I'm
a
talking to
conversation with
myself.
yourself, and there's no feedback at all.
Yes. So, yeah, Clay, and we had him on a while back. He would always talk about when he was, when I listened to him on Fox Sports Radio, that doing 3 hours of radio 5 days a week was one of the hardest jobs to do because you are, he had his producers and a couple guys on the show chime in every now and then, but basically it was him running the show for 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. So mad props to anybody that does that on a regular basis.
I've always had a lot of respect for Colin Cowherd because he does the same thing. He interacts quite a bit with like his
Joy.
I think it was Christine Leahy was the kind of the girl that was on the show, and then she was replaced by somebody else. And there's kind of a little bit of back and forth, but it's mostly just him talking. And it's similar to Clay, like tons of respect because he's on there for several hours doing his radio and TV show. I don't know, I don't know how I guess you ask yourself a lot of questions. And then you
ask a lot of questions and then a lot of topics to cover. Yeah. And make sure you have some opinion. You bring your opinions in your backpack.
A lot of hypotheticals.
Secondly, it is popular in Buffalo to it's like I'm going to say it's like a culture thing to crack a 10 a.m. hay burner from Big Ditch. I'm going to crack. This is Dad's favorite beer, and he just happened to leave some. Big Kev left some in the fridge from his last. So I'm going to just crack this in honor of Big Kev, who didn't make it to Chicago last weekend for the game. Point
of clarification, we are not recording this at 10 a.m. It is not 10 a.m. while Reid is drinking this.
Correct.
I think that is important to note.
It is closer to 10 p.m.
Yes.
I just felt it was important to hit on that piece of niche culture in Buffalo. Third thing, I would love to hear about you have been posting a little bit about your new puppy that you got. You already had Jasper, a golden doodle. Please introduce, not on camera, just tell us about your new puppy that you got.
Yeah. So
and how that's going in your house.
So I got Maggie last week. Maggie is another golden doodle. And she is currently 9 weeks old. She is bebopping around, biting Jasper's ankles, just driving her absolutely insane. And it's great. It's great. We're still working on the potty training thing. If she has to go in the middle of the night, she will cry and wake me up. The last 2 nights she has not, which has been outstanding. She's let me sleep until 5 a.m. When I wake up I have to use the bathroom or something, I will just take her out on my own because I know that if I try to go back to sleep, she's gonna cry 30 minutes later, so I might as well. Besides that, everything's going great. I have mom and dad here helping me a little bit for the first couple days, sort of getting us on our feet. And then dad's going to go back to Atlanta, and mom's going to actually stay down here and help me with the pup basically for the rest of the season. Having a puppy is very difficult. Having a puppy while you're a full-time NFL football player is even harder. So shout out to retired Tracy, doubling as a dog sitter. So
I was surprised, and I guess it's maybe a result of the breeder timing. You have gotten both of your dogs towards the end of football seasons. Is there a reason for that?
Christmas.
Is that by choice?
They do
for Christmas.
Well,
Christmas
not for me.
Yeah,
It's Christmas litters. They have them right before Halloween, and 8 weeks later, when puppies can go home, is right before Christmas.
Got it.
So,
Jasper, they can't hold it for you. They can't just, hey, I'll pick it up when I'm done.
Yeah, I guess I could have done that, but I didn't
know if you had to pick them up ASAP.
No, we were the last ones to pick up Maggie. Just the way that timing worked out, I think for Christmas pups and all that. But I mean, I guess I could have just had them hang on to her for a little while, but it worked out that mom was able to help me out, and I wanted her down here as quick as possible. So
gotcha.
They literally picked her up on Wednesday of last week, the 22nd, and drove down with her on that was the 21st, and then drove down with her on the 22nd on Thursday, 10 hours in the car with a fresh pup. So they are road warriors, and I appreciated it a lot, no doubt.
Well, that brings me to my next thing, is obviously talking about the games from last weekend.
Yes.
Christmas weekend, nonetheless.
Christmas is my favorite holiday, by the way.
100%.
100%. I think I saw a thing that I'm sorry to hijack this, but I saw a thing. I think it was John Christ. His podcast was talking about male versus female holidays.
Okay.
Like July 4th is a male holiday. Like totally 100% male holiday. Thanksgiving is a female holiday. You've got like pumpkin spice, you've got fall, you've got the leaves. It's like a female holiday.
Okay.
Christmas is potentially also a female holiday because it's the snow.
But we are celebrating a
joyfulness,
celebrating the birth of
celebrating a dude.
Okay,
we're celebrating a homie. My homie and savior.
The OG.
Yes.
But
I thought it was interesting because I've never thought about like men and women having holidays.
What's the second rated? Is July 4th number one
for male holidays?
Male holidays
has to be, right?
Well, I'm asking because like what would be number two?
I don't know. It's probably got to be some other patriotic holiday, like
that's
Memorial,
what I was thinking. But
Memorial
I didn't know
Day or something,
like Memorial, Veterans Day. I didn't know if you were including those. Like, I don't know. I'm curious as to what the.
No, it was like a very short clip. It was just a very short clip of just like that conversation, and I just thought it was an interesting thing. But I say that to say that Christmas is far and away better than every other holiday.
Definitely.
Like, you can celebrate it if you're me, you can celebrate
Easter
it for 2 months.
Is up there for reasons.
They said Easter was a female holiday.
Regardless.
Because it's pastels, it's bunny rabbits, it's like...
I'm just speaking on pure holidays.
Holiday rankings. Got it.
Importancy. Holiday importancy rankings. Easter is up there.
Yeah. It has to be.
Okay.
That and I mean
Christmas is probably number one.
Yes.
Birth and then Easter. Yes. Okay. All right. Are we good?
But I'll let you move on.
Okay. Wanted to get into last weekend's games. Talking about Big Kev. Sorry, I was trying to get back on track. Big Kev was supposed to come to, and this is all tying in. He was supposed to come to Chicago. Mom and Dad brought Maggie down to Miami. Dad was going to leave from Miami up to Chicago. Go to the game and then fly back to Miami to make your game on Christmas. Because of the weather, that was not able to happen. This is when last week, it was probably beginning of last week, maybe they were talking at local Buffalo guy, Patrick Hammer, shout out Pat Hammer. He was saying that, shout out Hammer Dog. He was saying this is potentially a once in a generation storm. And
we hear that every 3 years.
Well, unfortunately, I think it lived up to the hype because I believe, and this is, I'm sending my condolences. I think there's like 30 plus people that are confirmed that have passed away, unfortunately, like around the Buffalo area because of stranded in your cars, or something happened at home, or, all kind of reasons. Very, very sad circumstances. But to get into the game a little bit, this was the coldest away game in Buffalo Bills history. Minus 20 wind chill. Dude, when I tell you, okay, so you came to the Patriots playoff game last year.
Yeah. It was odd degree.
Yes, odd degree. Minus 8 or 9 wind chill.
It was chilly.
Not a ton of wind, but it was enough to drop it 10 degrees on wind chill, whatever it was. This game was, even though it was only 10 degrees colder, 10 to 11 degrees colder wind chill, -8 to -19 or 20, whatever it was, this game felt significantly colder than that playoff game against the Patriots. So, I don't know if it was because the temperature was a little higher. There was just that much more wind kicking the wind chill down, which I guess that's what it was. Because the gusts were 40 plus probably, and it was just felt like knives were going into your face.
So do you buy into the cliche of if it's below a certain degree, it's just cold? Like if it's below 3 degrees, it's just cold. You're saying you're saying that -10 and -20, big difference.
Yes. Wind being a factor.
Yeah. Because I can't tell you how many people that I've heard in the last week since this big winter storm across the entire United States, except for South Florida. Actually, I will get into that in a second. But I've heard so many people say, oh, once it gets below 5 degrees, it doesn't matter. It's just cold. And it's like, yeah, it is cold. It's 5 degrees outside. But yeah, 5 degrees is different from -15, just like 75 degrees is different from 95 degrees. Like it feels different, especially when you're only wearing one layer. How many layers did you have underneath your shoulder pads? One thermal layer and your little head cover ski mask.
Yep.
And your thing to put your hands in. Did you coat this game?
I did coat. I've coated for 2 games in my career. 2 games.
Proud of you.
This week and the playoff game against the
Patriots. See, I'm gonna attack you here for a second. And I know it's probably like a Buffalo thing, it's whatever. Somebody, when we were going up to Buffalo, it was Tyler, one of our equipment guys, was like, hey, are you gonna wear sleeves this weekend? I was like, absolutely, I'm gonna wear sleeves this weekend. Are you crazy? Give me all of the thermals. I spend 94% of the game on the sideline. I have nothing to prove to anybody. why would I not wear a coat when I'm standing there doing nothing, watching the defense on the field? And that is my question to you.
So
because
two
I know
things.
that you are not a coat guy.
Not a coat guy.
And it's good to hear that you did coat for this game, because you probably saved yourself and your skin from
100%
damage.
Two things to get on your cold. Is it cold? When is it get cold or colder?
Okay.
I think anywhere from like 10 to 25, like 10, below freezing to like 10 is like one tier. It's just it's cold outside.
That's cold one.
Cold one. Cold 2 is like 10 to 0.
Okay.
And then below 0 is like its own tier. Like below that, it's like it's really, really cold.
Cold as crap.
Cold as crap. Frigid is what my weather app called it, actually.
Okay.
Frigid temps is what it called it for the game Saturday. Secondly, it's 100% mental. 100% mental. It's Dawson Knox going sleeveless out to warm-ups on Christmas Eve in Chicago.
I don't buy that.
Because he did it.
I don't buy that.
He did it. It's mental.
I saw the pictures, but I don't buy it.
When I can tell myself I have snapped and done well in a game that's 20 below 0, I can tell myself, it's 25 degrees outside. I'll just stand by the heater. I'll sit on the bench.
When you go out on the field, the last thing you're thinking about is how cold it is. Correct?
100%.
When you go out there and you're looking at the protections, you're getting ready to snap your field goal snap, the last thing you're thinking about is, my hands are really cold right now. No. When I'm standing on the sideline and I just got my water that is freezing around the rim, yes, I'm good. My hands are cold because
I'm with you, but that's why I have a hand warmer. That's why I have a hand warmer.
I just don't see why you stop.
I think your thought process would be different if we played in opposite cities. We play more than half of our games every year in cold weather.
Okay, agree to disagree.
I'm just saying that's why I don't wear a coat, because it's a mental thing. Okay. Anyway,
I think it's dumb.
We beat Chicago. Okay, let me get to my main point. We beat Chicago. Okay, it was a interesting game, to say the least.
Frustrating.
First half was a little frustrating. Second half, we took care of business. Yes. Definition of a team win, that second half. Defense stood up. Offense put up points. Special teams took care of field position. Shout out to Sam Martin, my guy, number 8, Ocho, 8 dog, balled out. I haven't seen like the player of the week stuff yet. He definitely should be up there for it based on wind conditions. He had a couple bombs, especially one out of the back of our own end zone.
Yep.
3 great punts from 3 or 4. Can't remember. Definitely 3, maybe 4 punt. I can't remember how many times we punted. Great punts from him. So kudos to Sam. Shout out to him. Great day on Saturday. And 3 times in a row, I don't mean to like rub it in your face, but this was the hat and t-shirt game.
Congratulations.
So
where's the hat and t-shirt? Is it
knew that going in? My hat is in the garage on my hat rack, and t-shirt is hanging in my locker. Put it in with my laundry. So gotcha. I didn't wear it home.
It's not like in your garage too, like being used as a rag because you got so many now. Like
no,
wipe the snow salt
it's
off
still,
the car. Okay.
It is something that we do not take for granted. So,
well, congratulations.
Thank you. I thought I had something on my trophy case over here, but I don't. Sorry. Yeah. So anyway, hat and t-shirt game. You know that going in, playing for hats and t-shirts. That was kind of the mantra on the sideline. Like, let's go. Need those hat and t-shirts. Like third quarter, let's pick it up, guys. Let's go. And we got it done. So
very nice.
We were just to hit a little bit on the weather stuff to end it. We got stuck in Chicago. Saturday night for Christmas Eve. So we had to get dinner, and
Santa couldn't pick you up on his sleigh
Santa
and
couldn't
take
pick
you.
us up. I think we
Selfish.
were
That's
past the weight limit. So, it was. We had a good time Saturday night. Eating, got some birthday dinner with the boys for Jason, one of our strength guys. It was his birthday, so we got to go out and enjoy birthday dinner with him, and then just had a good time for a little bit before we came home on Christmas morning. So we were able to get out of town on Christmas and drive back to Buffalo. So just crazy. And we had been there a day early, like I mentioned on the pod last week, Thursday. So we stayed.
So did you guys have to
3 nights in Chicago?
But you couldn't fly back to Buffalo, right?
No, we flew back to Rochester and bussed back to Buffalo.
Which is how far?
Hour and a half, but on buses it probably took closer to 2 hours. And I was watching y'all's game for basically the whole trip. Gotcha. That's all I was doing. So that leads me into tossing it up to you. You guys played Green Bay on Christmas Day.
Yes. Let's talk about frustrating games, shall we?
I hear you.
Green Bay came into Miami in the second coldest home game in Miami Dolphins history. It was a whopping 44 degrees outside, and we played well.
When I saw Dad and John in hoodies.
Oh yeah.
For pregame, I knew that's when I checked the weather.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, it's got to be chilly down there, colder. I didn't think it was colder than that was 50 something.
It was
44, and I was like, okay, I understand the hoodies now.
I've never thought using a hand warmer, in Hard Rock Stadium was going to be a thing, but I did pull out a hand warmer on Sunday just to keep my fingertips.
Did you coat?
Warm. I did not coat. Coat was not necessary. Dude, it wasn't even below freezing.
Okay.
But my fingertips were cold. Yes.
Okay. You say so.
Whatever.
I'm just trying to stay consistent here for the listeners.
I respect it. And it snowed after the game. There was snow. There were flurries falling in Miami at Hard Rock Stadium after the game.
Are you sure it wasn't some ash from somebody's burning car in the parking lot again?
No, I don't think that happened this week. That's somebody's car you're talking about, dude. But so we played on Christmas Day, which was cool. I was definitely glad we were the early game to be able to have the rest of Christmas Day to enjoy, do a Christmas meal. That was tasty afterward. But yeah, it was a very frustrating game. I feel like that the Packers, after they got the fumble off of us before halftime, it completely shifted the momentum of the game. And we'll just learn better next time to not let one play that doesn't go our way to affect the entirety of the rest of the game. It's hard when you can physically feel the momentum shift and they go down, and we basically go from it being a 3-score game to it now it's a 1-score game going into half. They get the ball coming out of halftime. So then it was just frustrating after that, and we've kind of put that behind us. We've watched the film, and we're ready to take on New England in New England. It's another division game that is very, very important. Big time playoff implications this week, as they are one game behind us in the wild card race. We are basically fighting for the last playoff spot. Every other playoff spot has been, or wild card spot has been solidified.
That's right. After last night, right? LA
Chargers clinched a playoff spot, and so we're going to be hot and heavy in the next 2 weeks, fighting to make our first playoff appearance since I believe 2016, and first playoff.
I think so. Yep. I
First
remember
playoff win since like 2000 and I think it was maybe 1999 or 2000.
I think I remember watching the last playoff game that the Dolphins were a part of. It was I think y'all played the Steelers, and Matt Moore was the quarterback. I think I remember watching that game.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think it's been since 2016. I can neither confirm nor deny that. But yeah, we're on to New England. But I feel like we have to round out the Week 16 as we always do with our Week 16 after the snap clutch snap of the week.
Yes, we do.
Shall we?
Yes, we do. Drum roll, please.
Could you hear that?
Yes, I could.
Okay.
Congratulations to the winner of this week's Week 16 after the snap clutch snap of the week. Buccaneers long snapper Zach Triner for the game-winning field goal snap in overtime.
Let's go.
On Christmas night to keep the Buccaneers in contention for the NFC South Division title. If they beat Carolina this weekend, they win the division because Carolina, I believe, is in second place, maybe a game or two behind them. So congratulations to Zach for winning this week's after the snap clutch snap of the week.
Beautiful. Congratulations, Zach.
Yes, congratulations, Zach. Before we get into I know you had a few things you wanted to hit on college football stuff. There was a lot of news in the snapper world, and I say a lot because it was a lot because there's usually never any news, or not big news, minimal news, small news, tiny news. This week, 2 long snappers were unfortunately sent to IR. Patriots long snapper Joe Cardona. He's been there for a while now, 8 years, I believe.
He's a year ahead of you.
Yeah, a year ahead of me. 8 years there. He was sent to IR with a season-ending injury. He was injured maybe 1 or 2 weeks ago, and then played that game against Vegas.
Yep.
And I don't know if he maybe aggravated it or something.
I think they said that he tried to play. He tried to come back and play through it, but then it just
re-aggravated. Yeah. So they have signed Tucker Addington to the active roster through the end of the season. So congratulations to Tucker for getting. I believe this will be his first shot on an NFL roster. I don't believe that I've definitely heard his name before. In tryouts and stuff, but I don't think he has been signed to an active roster before. And then Cardinals long snapper Aaron Brewer, who has been doing it for a while, 11, 12 years maybe, won a Super Bowl with the Broncos back in 16, I believe, whenever they won it with Peyton. Aaron was sent to IR with a pectoral injury, which from what I've heard, those are super painful. And that's actually the second pec injury, I believe, or close to a pec injury, because Clark Harris with Cincinnati
his was
earlier this season, maybe a bicep. Okay.
Yeah. A lot of shoulder, bicep, chest,
upper body stuff. So unfortunately, Aaron, I believe his season is over now. I don't know who they signed. Haven't seen that yet. But,
I didn't see any transactions. I'd assume that they probably will have workouts tomorrow morning. We're recording this Tuesday, December 27th. Workouts generally are on Wednesday mornings if they haven't done them today. So I would assume that they would either sign 2 guys to their practice squad or sign somebody to their active roster immediately on Wednesday.
I'm just scrolling the.
Yeah, I saw they made the transaction to send him to IR, and then they claimed somebody else. It was like a defensive back, but I didn't see them signing any long snappers to their practice squad or their active roster yet.
Got it. Interesting. All right. Well, that will be TBD. Okay, so a few things. I'll kick it to you. A few things you wanted to cover. Something about Texas A&M. So I'll let you get into that.
Yeah, so I was actually scrolling at Twitter earlier today, and I came across a tweet that says Texas A&M's Jimbo Fisher says that the transfer portal and NIL is, quote, ruining college football, despite his recruiting success.
That is hilarious.
Months after Alabama's Nick Saban, this is sportingnews.com. Months after Nick Saban accused Texas A&M's Jimbo Fisher of buying every player, Fisher appears to be taking a stand against the NIL system. Quote, it's an absolute joke that's ruining college football, he said he labeled it pay for play. He alleged tampering by other schools in the transfer portal. All of a sudden, UTSA's coach Jeff Traylor was publicly accusing some of the big schools of poaching players and contacting them when they're not yet in the transfer portal, saying, we'll offer you so much money to come to our school if you transfer. All of a sudden, everybody's robbing UTSA's players, taking their players, calling the system utterly ridiculous. And you know what's utterly ridiculous is that statement right there.
I mean, talk about the pot calling the kettle black.
Dude, pot meet kettle.
Are you serious? Especially after the nonsense that he went through with Saban.
Oh my gosh.
In the spring last year, when they went back and forth. I mean, holy moly, talk about being tone deaf.
I can't help but
read the room, brother.
Think about and this is after they had the top recruiting class in the country
for the first time ever.
With like the highest, they had like a record
highest NIL guarantees.
Yeah.
Yes.
I say record. It was the most NIL money of any school in the entire country.
Hilarious. I mean,
he's the one that says it's ruining college football because they didn't win the national championship after having the best recruiting class. Is that why it's all of a sudden an issue?
I think it's an issue because they couldn't even get to. Hold on, let me see. They were 5-7.
Didn't make a bowl game. I saw that
beat LSU.
I saw that tweet, and
That's
then
their Super Bowl.
Quickly after, it was followed up by another tweet that says that Texas A&M also leads the country in players in the transfer portal by
cannot make it up
by 10.
Cannot
they have
make it up.
24 players in the transfer portal.
That's insane.
A
quarter of your team, bro.
The average across, I believe it was Power 5, is 10,
which
He's
is
got 14 more.
Also insane.
Average.
That is wild. But it just shows how I think it shows the way that kids are thinking nowadays. They're either getting bad advice or they're getting too much money up front to where they're just saying, all right, I'm going to go here. I'm going to play a year. Let's see what happens. If I do well, I'll stay. If I don't, I'm going to take my money and run. And they didn't go to a bowl game. They went 5-7. I think some of these kids are just taking their money and going somewhere where they're going to be a starter or think they're going to be a starter.
Here we go. Most Power 5 scholarship players in the transfer portal so far. Texas A&M, 24. Florida, 22. Arkansas, 21. That's the top schools. 3 are all SEC schools.
Interesting.
Number 4 is Arizona at 20. And number 5 is Miami at 18. So think about that's Florida, new head coach.
Yep.
This was after his first year. Arkansas, I believe, was Pittman's second year as their head coach.
Yep.
Don't know Arizona's coaching situation. And then Miami, Cristobal, this was his first season. So I can see why, when Coach O took over as the head coach at LSU, we had a ton of guys leave. Ton of guys left. And this was before the transfer portal was the transfer portal.
Right.
Guys just left because they just didn't agree with the way that he was operating, and that's fine. Totally cool. But this is insane.
Crazy.
25 guys? That's an entire recruiting class.
Imagine you're one of those guys and nobody wants you.
Yeah. I mean, it happens all the time. It happens more often than not.
I believe it. What do you do? Just go back with your tail between your legs?
I saw, well, we had a couple of guys at LSU go into the transfer portal and then come back because they tested the waters and there was nothing out there. So they just came back and fought through it, and they ended up, some of them got playing time and some of them just never ended up panning out. But I mean, that's part of making sure that when you go to a school that you're going to where the fit is right, and it's not just where the most money is. Because you can get a lot of NIL money, but that doesn't mean that you're gonna get a lot of playing time, and that doesn't mean you're gonna get a lot of targets if you go there with a stacked receiver room.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's
crazy. And so I just think, number one, it's incredibly tone deaf by Jimbo, but number two, the transfer portal thing is just, it's insane. But I think that the NIL system has allowed players to pull back some of the leverage, and I'm cool with it. Like, it is the Wild West, but they're finally making the money that they should have been making all along.
Yep.
I was talking to Christian Wilkins the other day, and this is just like paraphrasing what we were talking about, but it was like he would have made so much money, and he was like, if I had stayed and been able to make NIL money, like I joked. I told him because remember, he was the one that after the national championship, he like pulled his leg up and fell into the split and was like doing the dance. Do you remember that?
Remember that.
He did a split on the, like, when the confetti was falling after the national championship.
Okay.
I told him, I joked and I said you'd have been splitting. You'd have been doing a split on every commercial, on everything after the national championship game. Like, you would have been making so much money doing that. I'm trying to pull up the GIF. Let's see. Here it is. Like, he would have been doing that on every, like what we're about to talk about with the Cheez-It thing. Like, he'd have been doing the Cheez-It absurdly cheesy split dance or whatever. But that actually brings us to the next topic that I had, which was also along the lines of NIL. And it's an article that I came across that says Cheez-It signs, it's a press release. Cheez-It signs 4 of the most absurdly cheesy college football athletes to, quote, wake up feeling the cheesiest via the brand's first ever NIL deals. So
I would have been a prime candidate for
basically this. What they did is they picked one player that they signed an NIL deal with one player from each of the 4 teams playing in Cheez-It bowl games. So there's 2 Cheez-It sponsored bowl games.
Okay.
The Cheez-It Bowl and the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl.
Okay.
Which LSU is playing in. So the Cheez-It Bowl between Oklahoma and Florida State, they signed Micah Pittman, wide receiver from Florida State, and Michael Turk, punter from Oklahoma.
I heard of him.
They also signed Garrett Nussmeier, who is a quarterback at LSU.
Yep.
And Tyrone Tracy Jr., wide receiver from Purdue. So they signed each of them to the most absurdly cheesy college football, feeling the cheesiest NIL deal. Each player scored, this is from PRNewsWire.com. Each player scored some competitive contract perks with their hotel rooms at the bowl game, decked out in Florida ceiling Cheez-It inspired items like absurdly plush Cheez-It rugs and, quote, I woke up feeling the cheesiest coach alarm clock, inspirational Cheez-It inspired artwork in their room, and luxurious red and yellow bedding. It's like waking up inside of a Cheez-It box, but better.
I saw a picture of this when it got announced a while back, a couple weeks ago.
Brand Senior Director for Cheez-It, Aaron Storm says, as a brand who has continuously offered fans show-stopping experiences, we're excited to bring the action directly to our 4 extremely talented college football athletes. We can't wait for them to experience the magic of our feeling the cheesiest hotel rooms. What are your thoughts?
That is amazing. I can't believe that this is the first time that this is happening.
So I don't know that I agree with the fact that this is the first ever NIL deal for Cheez-It, because it's not. Didn't Cade? Well, I shouldn't say it's not. Didn't Cade York do a Cheez-It commercial?
Yes, and we talked about it.
No. Sorry, he was Velveeta. He did his with Velveeta because it was like the queso when he was doing the press conference. It wasn't Cheez-It. Sorry.
But think about, like, I'm looking at some of these bowl games. The Wasabi Fenway Bowl. Think about if you had a wasabi eating contest.
There's so much opportunity.
The Lending Tree Bowl.
Yeah.
Have a couple guys duke it out and see who can do their taxes better. Right?
The IRS would
the
probably.
The Frisco Bowl presented by Serve Pro. Let's see who can. Serve Pro was the ones who drained water out of my basement. Let's see who has the best. Yeah, see who can clean the carpets the best.
You get like a black dirty carpet, and you can see which one. Like each one has the team's logo on it, and see which
Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. Let's see why don't we do a flight simulator?
Who can make the best paper airplane?
Yes, perfect. I'm surprised that it I could keep going. I'm surprised that this is the first time that this has happened.
Yeah.
Where a sponsor has picked out 2 guys from opposing teams and done something with them at this.
Well, last year being the first time that it was possible, it's not surprising that it's fair. I guess last year would have been the time, but I'm surprised, I guess, that we haven't seen more of it.
Sure. I get on
more of it this year. Like, we are halfway, if not more than halfway through bowl season, which I'm actually doing terribly, by the way. I think I'm doing great. I'm in second place. I'm in dead last in our bowl pool. I'm like 5-15 or something crazy.
Hate to see it.
Horrendous.
You hate to see it.
Horrendous. But I props to the 4 guys who signed the most absurdly cheesy college football, feeling the cheesiest NIL deals. But we need more brands paying players more money that are playing in their bowl games.
Yes, we do.
Like, what was what's another fun one?
Well, the one that came to my mind was like, didn't there used to be a PlayStation Bowl, PlayStation Fiesta Bowl?
Yeah, we played in it in 2018.
Yeah, let's do a Twitch streaming.
The Duke's Mayo Bowl.
Who can make the best sandwich?
All right, we could go on and on.
Bad Boy Mowers.
Who can do the best 0-point turn?
Yes. Perfect. Flip that.
Amazing. So
I want to find one more. Tony the Tiger Bowl. Who can eat the most Frosted Flakes? Easy.
The Bahamas Bowl. Who can swim from Miami to the Bahamas the fastest?
Capital One Orange Bowl. Who can ruin their credit score by signing up for more credit cards? Allstate Sugar Bowl. This might be the best one. The Allstate Sugar Bowl. Who can sound like the Allstate guy on the commercials the best?
Who can wreck more vehicles than Mayhem?
Yes. I'm talking about remember the guy that used to.
That's Allstate stand.
Yes, that guy.
Are you in good hands?
Are you in good hands?
He's not British. That's a wrap. We need to wrap this.
Oh my god.
That is a wrap on this
all
week's
I got.
episode of After the Snap. Thank you all for joining us. This has been so much fun. We will see you right back here next week. Don't forget, subscribe, follow us at After the Snap Pod. Subscribe to us, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Follow us on the Finsider and Buffalo Rumblings.
Yes.
That's where you can find our
I was
podcast.
going to say on Apple Podcast app, you can go to the Buffalo Rumblings page or the Finsider page. Our socials are tagging both of their accounts because that's where we are as of now. So go to both of those Apple Podcasts, subscribe to whoever you are a fan of, and that is where you can find our podcast each and every week.
We will see you right back here next week. This has been After the Snap, tales from two brothers who live life upside down.
Hit it.